Hi, my name is Charlie and welcome to Tabletop Gaming. Today we're going to be taking a look at 2-player games and the best ones you can get. Now normally we do a list of 10, you may have seen our 10 of the best videos previously. This time we went a little bit too far, we have 20 and more, but today we're going to focus on those core 20. Now I love talking about games, so please do let me know in the comments if there are any that we missed that you like, any that you'd recommend based on those, or even how you found the ones that are on the list. Did you like them? Did you not like them? Could you not get on with them? Did you love them? Tell me everything, I'd love to hear it. So without further ado, let's have a run through of this list. First up, we have Twilight Struggle. Now this game was built specifically for 2 players, so that's always a bonus when you're looking at games like this, that it's not been scaled down. This is a 2-player game and that's what you get. Now everything about this is epic, whether it's what covers your tabletop or whether it's the subject matter itself, which is the USSR and the USA. Amidst the Cold War, you're going to be playing historical event cards, trying to lay your tokens in the right places to avoid complete and total annihilation through nuclear war. It sounds like it's on the heavy end of the scale, however, it is great fun to play, and as I say, specifically designed for 2. Number 2 is War Chess. Now, it's like an extreme chess, but you're going to be drafting in your pieces rather than playing them at the same time as your opponent, or the same pieces as your opponent, I should say. There's a really smart action system where you'll play and discard cards, and you may not be too sure of what's going to go on when the whole landscape changes. It's kind of been described as a little bit of a tug of war, but perfect for 2 players. Next up, we have Pandemic Legacy. Now, sales of this went through the roof during the pandemic, and I'm not sure whether people were just Googling pandemic and being excited to find a game, or whether it was just topic matter, or even the fact that it's a great 2-player game. Honestly, it's something that's incredibly engaging. There's a reason these are really popular games, and they're perfect for you to sit down with somebody and try and figure out how to save the world. Number 4 is Ancore. Now this game is for up to 4 players, but we think it supports really well at 2. The centre of it is a market board that folds out that you'll pop your materials into, but it means your game changes every time. Now sure, that's simple, but that doesn't stop it being a great mechanic and a great way to play the game in new ways every single time. The market will let you buy tiles, which you'll then arrange in sort of a bejeweled fashion, laying some on top to create new matches. It's a fun build up to point scoring that some of the other lighter Euro-style market games maybe lack, so something you can really enjoy in this game. Number 5, Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. I feel I've talked about this so much recently. These style of mystery games are great for being alone or great for playing with others. It's all about sort of pulling together all your ideas, following clues and hints and tips and keeping on going and trying to solve whatever the case may be, whether it's a murder, whether it's a theft, whether someone's gone missing. This style of game in general is great for this sort of thing, mostly because you can do it alone, but it's great to have someone to bounce off of, to be able to go, I'm stuck, what do you think we should do next? Or to be able to look at things slightly differently. That makes the game really quick, really engaging, and means that you're constantly doing something, but you're doing it together. And you're raising those questions together and having great fun. If you like mysteries, or even if you just are a bit nosy sometimes and want to find stuff out, this is a great game for you and a great game for 2 players to play too. Number 6, Ishtar, Gardens of Babylon. This game sees you try to make the desert bloom. Sound an impossible task? No, you've got this. You too can do this. It's a tile layer at heart, but also heavily strategic, and you're going to have to think about what you're doing. Now, the 2-player mode of this is extremely tight on point scoring, so you're really going to have to work for your points, and generally the feedback that we've had is that people are sort of within 1 or 2 points of difference when it comes to the end. So really a game that you can get competitive over and then immediately want to play again once it's done. Number 7 is Timeline. Now, this one's great because it's physically small, which means you can take it with you if you're popping over to see one other person. Maybe you're in a bubble, maybe you just want to see someone. Taking it with you isn't a problem with this game, and all you're going to be doing is popping things in roughly chronological order. But actually it's harder than it sounds. You're not too sure when one thing came before the other, and this sounds realistic, but actually it's not. It's a great talker of a game and a great fun little game to keep with you as well. Whilst the game can also support up to 8 players, at 2 it works perfectly well and we can really enjoy it. Number 8 is Escape the Dark Castle. If you're looking to escape the house but can't, try and escape the castle instead. With your fellow player alongside you, you're going to be trying to escape, but it's of course not as simple as it sounds. This is a dice-based, randomised, choose-your-own-adventure game, but playing co-op means that you don't have to be playing against your fellow player, which is always quite nice. We don't necessarily need the arguments unless you're seriously competitive. I'm not competitive, but I do need to win. You're going to have to consider a lot of things such as resource management. Are you going to need this now? Are you going to need it later? If you use it now, will you regret not using it later if you don't use it later? You know the style, and it's great fun, and we would absolutely recommend. Number 9 is Magic the Gathering, and I think it's unsurprising a game like this makes the list. Magic has got such a huge gathering. I didn't intend that, but I like that. Magic the Gathering has a huge gathering, has a huge community. So it may be that you have fellow players that you don't even realise are fellow players. And it's really easy to get into with their jumpstart packs. Pick them up, smush them together, get playing nice and easy. Now this works really well over things like Zoom if you need to, or if you're just in the house and you want to be playing through different cards. Perfect, absolutely perfect. A really fun game, designed for 2 players and ready for you to start playing. Number 10 is Blitzkrieg, which is World War II in 10 minutes. That's right, I said it. Now you're going to be drawing resources from a bag, which means they're randomised, which means you don't know how you're going to come out of this. It is also a game that is designed specifically for 2 players or 1 to 2 players, which means you can play alone if you need to, or with the thing. That's why it's on the list. That's why it's on the list. This game's a really tight, really tense game, but also a nice and quick one. So easy to play and then get back out and play again, and then play again, and then play again. You get the idea. Number 11, but I can't do this because I've run out of fingers. This is why we stick to a list of 10. So we're going to go with Star Wars X-Wing. Now this has some of the most beautiful miniatures, I think, and some of the tightest gameplay. It's sort of a skirmish dogfighting style game in space, which is absolutely fabulous. Now this also featured on our miniatures list, 10 of the best miniatures, so go check out that video as well. But we would recommend this for 2 players, especially because of the starter set. But the core set is recreating that feeling of dogfighting and sort of tenseness and amazingness that we get in Star Wars. Now it's a great way to A, combine your love of Star Wars with B, your love of gaming, and smush them together with a friend and have the perfect combination. Now, number 12, Wingspan by the fabulous Elizabeth Hargraves. Now, this is a bird game, which you think of and you think, do I want to play a bird game? Yes, I can tell you. Yes, you do. This is great for 2 players. It's sort of a resource management style game that is beautifully peaceful, beautifully calming, and just really beautifully balanced as well. Plus, you'll learn a load about birds, which is always a good thing. Number 13 is Battle Lore. We've specifically gone for the 2nd edition. It's a rank and flank style game without having to go through the hassle of painting 100 miniatures. This is a fast, no-nonsense, fantasy battle tactical experience that you will love. The nice thing about this one is it's felt that it's been really refined over a while, so the rules are really tight, you'll have fun, and it's just a really nice one to add to the list. Number 14 is Crust. Basically, it's a role-playing game around Jenga. What that means is if the tower falls, you've given in to your desires. You're playing as star-crossed lovers, but the circumstances may vary, so you may just need to be aware that it might be a good one for couples to play, as there's bound to be a little bit of flirting. There's your warning, do with it what you will, but Crust is great for 2 players, and if you can't get a Jenga tower together, they are available online. Number 15 is Carcassonne, coming up to its big anniversary. Now, Carcassonne is a great 2-player game. It has always been seen as a beautiful gateway game, so if the person that you're wanting to play with hasn't been into board games previously, now is the chance to grab them, sit them down, and no, let's play some Carcassonne. There's a reason it's as popular as it is, and it is great fun to play. In essence, it's a tile-laying game, but it's also so much more. Now sure, you can up the player count if you want to, but it works perfectly well with 2. Number 16 is Dead Man's Cabal. Now, we may not have someone else to play with, so why not raise them from the dead? This is a Euro-ish game about raising the dead for victory points, and they have quite impressive skulls to hold too. You'll use those skulls to manipulate the supply to take the actions that you want on your turn. It's a delicate back and forth between 2 players that works really perfectly. Number 17 is Agricola. Now this is a farming-based game that is oddly calming. Obviously you're going to need to grow crops, you're going to need to have more farmhands, you're going to need to think of all of those things, and you know what? It genuinely reminds me of the craze of when Farmville was a big deal, and everyone was obsessed with growing crops. Agricola, I feel, takes that feeling and smushes it into a board game, and then we get to play it again, and again, and again, and again, and we get to enjoy it even more. Number 18 is a favourite of our editor. This is Degenerates. Now, this is one you have to look at to believe. The artwork is phenomenal and punk and mental and great, and it's really fun to see, so check that out. Now, the whole game is, I'd say satirical is probably the best way of putting it. There's some really great nods to cultural icons and things like that within it, and it's just quite a quick and fun game to play. Now, we could obviously mention a ton of other games in a similar sort of genre, but we've gone for this one as it's a favourite. You're going to play out a branch of a campaign in a crunchy and complex adventure that's fun. Now, there is a lot to learn at the start, but arguably it's worth it. This is a really good one to make our list. Number 19 is Jaipur. This has been a 2-player favourite for a very long time, and for a very good reason. You're going to be market traders trying to buy and sell your way to court. But of course you're playing head-to-head, the competition gets tough, and you're going to have to really think about what it is that you're purchasing and trying to sell on. Is your tactic right? Do you change partway through? Do you stick to it? It takes about 30 minutes to play and is probably a favourite of our publisher. And in at number 20 is The Mind. Now, I know there are arguments as to whether this is a game or not, but we're popping it on our list. Now, in The Mind, you're going to be trying to work out what the other person is thinking and lay down cards in relation to what you think they may have played. It is actually more difficult, but more engaging than you think it might be from first listen. So, once you play your card, what are the other person doing? Have you got the right order? Can you get the way through? It's tricky, but with quick replayability, and it's great for 2 players, especially if you want to read the other one's mind. So that makes up 20 2-player games that you can play. So grab your best friend, pull them into a gaming session and say, right, we are playing all 20. Why not all 20? Wouldn't that be an epic gaming day? Someone needs to make that happen. Thanks so much for watching. I've been Charlie, and you can find out more about us and more about tabletop games at tabletopgaming.co.uk. If you enjoyed this video specifically, please do give us a like and subscribe, and let us know in the comments if there's anything that you're particularly excited about, any games that you've played or ones that you want to. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.